Let's be talking energy once again. The sense that makes no sense. I love to talk about that. And then to explain it, I thought that might be a good idea if I go through it today. So if we imagine that we are carrying all kinds of emotions, all kinds of reactive connections to everything that's happening around us, and sometimes we have these reactions that just don't make sense to us. And they certainly don't make sense to the people around us. They might see us as confident and capable and assured and strong and all these wonderful things. But a situation comes up and we suddenly feel an overwhelming feeling of being at loss or despair or terrified. Something comes up that is so big and doesn't seem to match who we are and how we are perceived and seen by the world. And even to ourselves, we kind of go like, oh, where did that come from? And you will also know that you are connecting into a sense that doesn't make sense. If you are sharing the sense with somebody and they can't relate to it for you, they can't see it in you, it doesn't make sense to them that you would be the one holding this little vibration of misery. And so they often say things that are very helpful, like, don't be ridiculous, or it's not like that, or don't be such a drama queen, or relax, or it's not so important. And there's almost sweep it away, just disregard it and sweep it away and kind of say, well, you're being ridiculous. And that's the tone that you're getting, that's the understanding that you're getting, that you are being ridiculous, that there is something wrong with your way and you, because this horrible sense is coming up inside of you. And it is overwhelming. It's almost like a runaway train. It's like we can't get past it because it just keeps feeling heavy inside of the being. Can feel a little bit like a foreboding, a sense of anticipation, but a sense of a foreboding anticipation. And it can feel like a depression. So when we have these senses that don't make sense, we want to work out what they are. And we want to try and understand what they are. So what is this? Why am I carrying on in this life and I'm doing pretty much okay? Suddenly something comes along and bam, I'm unsettled, or I'm shot out of my comfort space, or I'm feeling so much more than I even want to feel, and I don't know what the hell's going on. If you can identify the trigger that started that catalyst and began that feeling, that eruptive feeling, if you can identify what that is, you're really halfway there already. So next time this happens to you, just stop a moment instead of going straight into shame and blame and all those lovely things that we also do, self-persecute, deny, deflect, reject, distract, detach. We do all of that stuff. Instead of going first to that place, stop and just go, whew, wow, this is a lot of feeling and I wonder where it came from. And imagine that you take a step back in your mind and you think, well, what was it? Where was it that I immediately felt that sense? If you can become this incredible investigator, this witness of your life, you will become so much clearer and so much cuter at being able to take that stopping point and step back and capture yourself before this train runs away with you and hijacks you emotionally. Stop. What is it? What triggered it? It could be something as simple as someone looking at you in a certain way that just made you feel like you weren't being seen, or you were nasty, or just a disregarding kind of energy. You know how sometimes someone can just give you a look and you go, oh, and then you struggle with it. Meantime, they're just having a grumpy moment or having a thought in their own mind about their sadness or their encounter, and they might be showing that feeling that they are having on their face, but then you take the picture of the face and you interpret it and you attach your own sense to it, your own drama or your own pain to it. or your own feeling of lack or being disregarded. We do this all the time. It's no wonder that we can ever do any kind of relationships, because all these undertone things are happening all the time. But if we can become aware of them and speak to them immediately, we can clear these up, and we don't have to carry them on for miles and miles of our journey, holding this burden of heaviness and sadness. Catch yourself in the moment, the very moment when you feel that disregard or that rejection or that sadness or that fear, whatever it is. In that moment, you have an opportunity to say, is this mine? Does it belong to me? And is it relevant? Is it even relevant for this life journey? And is it relevant to who I am, who I know and understand myself to be? And if we're feeling poorly about ourselves, then we're probably going to attach to it. We're probably going to go, yeah, I deserve that, or I don't deserve that, and we deplete and drop our energy vortex. If we're in a better space, we're probably going to be able to just brush it off and say, oh, it's just them, and we're going to be okay. But if the sense holds and lingers, and it persists, and it nudges and knocks upon your awareness, then it is a sense that makes no sense. When I see this energetically, it is really interesting, because there is an energy aura, almost an energy vibration around a space, and I can pretty much see it in the body field. But where something has got locked in, something is depleting, and the energy is just dropping away and dropping away. It's almost like we let the plug out, and then this water just runs away and runs away and runs away, and we don't want it to run away. That's our life force energy. But there's something that's got a leak, and this life force is just pulling out of it. And when it belongs backward in time, it's really interesting to see the energy on that, and to see when these frequencies, these signals, do not belong in this time-space reality. They belong in our ancient trails. They are imprints and memories that have been pushed into our system so that we'll never forget, so that we will remember, and that we will be safe, and that we'll be able to survive. So you can imagine the ancient ones in our lineage, in order to survive, was to never be outside of the group. It was to comply and to follow the rules and to be part of the tribe. To be isolated, to be thrown out, to be rejected, dismissed, was to not survive, because you needed the collaboration of that group and the community for your survival. And there was a dependent and needy energy in that. Those are very low frequencies. They're all frequencies of survival. But that's what we had to do. We had to survive so that we could get to this point. Now we're at this point. We don't have to survive anymore. We have to choose to thrive, because we can survive. We know how to do that. We have built all kinds of ingenious structures and formats so that we can survive. And even if we don't survive, there is survival going on. People are surviving. Species are still surviving. New species are coming in. But even if I and my little self don't survive, there is a survival energy that is moving us forward, moving us forward. What we want to do is really clearly understand that we have masses of imprints, masses of these horrors of being excluded and thrown out, rejected. And these energies cause a reaction in us. They have been so steadily imprinted in our being so that we will never forget. That the slightest nuance, slightest gesture can suddenly alert our system to say, oh my God, I'm about to be rejected. For heaven's sakes, quickly adjust, quickly fix it so that you're not thrown out. And we make these quick adjustments in us so that we can remain within this group or within this community. And these imprints are so strongly embedded in our system from our ancestral code. We have a genetic code that shows that we belong to all those who went before, but we have an energetic code as well. And that is where the imprints are. So we want to pay attention to what is coming up in our being so that we can start to release these things that are no longer necessary. They do not belong in this time frame. They were highly necessary in those time frames, but they are no longer necessary. They no longer serve us. But our system has been wired with them, and we haven't challenged them, and we haven't asked, does this belong to me? Do I still need to carry this? So we just keep lugging it on and on and on and on and on. We just keep lugging the debris of our past and pulling it into the future and distorting the future, discoloring the potential of our future. So we really want to make sense of these senses that make no sense. And we are going to start to do that by starting to agree that we are divine beings of light and love, and that we are already beautiful light beings. We are already perfect. And we are in the most incredible place here right now where we get to choose. Do we just keep playing on this trajectory of survival, or are we going to play and leap across in a leap of faith and start this trajectory of thriving? They're going in opposite directions. And I know which one I would much rather be on, because one is not going to take us into our complete survival. We will demise if we continue on that trajectory. There are too many hardships in it. The only option is to jump across and to pick this trajectory of thriving. And the mindfulness that it requires from us are these nudges that are coming in, these senses that don't make sense. I'm seeing more and more and more of them, because rapidly we must dump these now. We must let them go. We must agree that they are not ours, that they are imprints, they are codes, they serve their time, and their time is up. And I'm not going to be the carrier of them. I will not continue to drag them into the future and make them the legacy for the children and the families to come here after me. No, it's time for us to step into our accountable being. Make your life count, even if the only thing you get to do in this life is to release these tangled cords, these messy cords. Wouldn't that be a wonderful legacy to leave? Couldn't you say my life had meaning and purpose because I chose to see this life and the potential of life in a whole new way? And that means I stop attaching to the drama and the karma and the trauma, and I allow myself to see the potential and to see again. The sense that makes no sense must be cleared as quickly as you can. If you need help, let me know. And I can send you resources, we can do sessions. You can follow some of the webinars that I've got, all kinds of lovely resources that will help you to understand this. Once your cognitive mind, your mindfulness of your being understands it, it's really easy. It's that we just want to wake up and stop being in the state of oblivion about being in a hard life. It is not. It is a life filled with potential, and it's right here waiting for us to reach it. So much love to you all. I always feel like these are long lectures. Sorry about that. But anyway, it's time for us to make sense of who we truly are. Thank you for you. Namaste.